what to do. In general, or... No, but you did a one-taker last video and then they blew it again. What, are you gonna do, another one-taker? No, I think we got bigger issues to talk about. Ooh, ominous. Yeah, that and they got the Bruins on Saturday, so... Let's go! Do you have a humiliation kit? This is all I ask you to do. I'm having a great finger flick. You're allowed to show up. This team is ruining my life. I'm taking crazy pills. With you, wherever you are, welcome to LFR. The Toronto Maple Leafs embarrassed their coach and themselves 5-1 against the St. Louis Blues at home. Before the season, Craig Berube said that he wanted the Leafs to play every game like it was Game 7. We've been talking for a few days now about how much this game would mean because it's Craig Berube's first game against the team that fired him, which means we should have all saw this loss coming like it was painted to the back of our eyelids. So this is LFR, Leafs fan reaction. We do one after every single Leafs game, but there's 82 games. That's so many games! And you have come to expect that there is a type. And with losses, there are types. Sometimes the loss isn't a big deal, and it's treated as such. And we talk about other news issues. Yeah, this, but what about this? I didn't like this, but I did like this. Hopefully next time it's this. Then there's the hellfire and brimstone, burn everything down and get angry. For those of you who maybe haven't been here in a while, you were waiting for a bad loss or something, a video that sounded a little bit like they lost to a 42-year-old Zamboni driver who works for them! I took a big breath before it last time. I forgot. Then there are the one-takers. That's when I don't even do jump cuts. I just let the rage pour out of my head. Tonight, I have another idea. You know what you got last video? The 6-2 loss against Columbus, which again, we could have all seen from space. I'm always amazed when I drive around Toronto and I still see signs for psychics in windows. Like, isn't the city full of Leaf fans? How aren't you out of business? What I want to do for this LFR is ask you questions. You. No, you. I'm not pointing at him. I wouldn't point at him. You. I'm talking about you. Now, I am well aware that I am talking into a camera, and even though you can hear me, I can't hear you, so it's kind of a one-way conversation. But for the rest of the video, I would like to offer you my thoughts and then ask you a question, or ask you a question and then offer you my thoughts. That's what the comment section down below is for. So, Joseph Woll. First game of the season for the Leafs. It was against his hometown team, the St. Louis Blues. A lot of people forget that. Was this loss his fault? Now that I've asked the question, I'll let you come up with your answer. My answer: no. Was Joseph Woll good in this game? Interesting. I'll give you a minute. Okay, so my answer is also no. Now, wait a sec, wait. Did Joseph Woll give his team a chance to win in this one? I'm going to say yes. He did. Out of the 4 that he allowed, you'd like at least maybe one of them back, you know? But there's a couple themes. Number one, the Leafs do not seem to have high-scoring losses, at least not this year. No more of those Wild West shootouts ending 7-6 in overtime. They seem to be doing a lot of winning or losing 5-1 or 5-2. The reason I'm saying Joseph Woll gave his team a chance to win, even if you would like a goal or two that he gave up back, the saves that he made are saves that the team didn't necessarily deserve. Flying across, big glove save. I mean, geez, Jordan Binnington had to face over 40 shots in this one, only allowed 1 goal, and I dare say Woll made bigger saves than Binnington did. I tell you what, Binnington had to face fewer breakaways and odd man rushes, and the breakaways the Blues did get, they got a shot off! Number 2, and this is just a really funny Photoshop that we have here on the screen that I got from Twitter. I'll die before I call it X. From Twitter, this is the Holloway goal. Question, does this look like an NHL team? Now, for those of you at the back of the class who screamed, yes, it does. No, I'm talking about the blue one, not the white team. The road jerseys, not the home jerseys. You understand? You would like to change your answer? Yeah, okay. Yeah, you go ahead. It's fine. For those of you who are listening to this on like Spotify or Apple, okay. How do I describe this? Okay, so the Blues have a couple players in the corner. 3, exactly. One that is really battling along the boards, and there's 2 Leafs in there, and they're digging away at it. And there's another Blue that's sort of there in support, and another guy who's standing around the edges. And then there's 2 Leafs standing behind that guy. The Blues have a player with no one really anywhere near him at the blue line, and a player with no one really anywhere near him in front of the net! You're not going to believe this, but the guy alone in front of the net is the guy who scored. So again, the question is, does this look like an NHL team? I know my answer. Curious to know what yours is. Before I get to my next question, I'll have to read you some quotes from Craig Berube after the game. From credentialed Leaf reporter Jesse Blake, Craig Berube on the 3rd goal that led to the incident with the first line on the bench. The third goal is just not doing things right. It was lazy hockey. Berube also said, our whole team is getting a little cute. We just gotta play direct. I guess my first question is, where are the lies? Right? I know we're asking questions here, but I think most of us would agree that's a pretty fair assessment of what went on in this game. I guess my next question would be, has this not been a problem since the beginning of the season? Has this not been a problem since the preseason? Has this not been a problem since last season? Has this not been a problem since the last coach? Some variables or little elements that you might want to know before you answer the question. Craig Berube has only been here for 8 regular season games. That's so few games. That being said, I'll tack on another question. Is Craig Berube shy about letting his team know what he doesn't think they're doing right? Injecting my own opinion? No! So I guess the biggest question I have is, how long is Craig Berube going to say this and tolerate it? Oh, very good question that I just thought of, if I do say so myself. And this one's for you. This one's for you. Remember? Who is going to be the one to correct this issue? Who is going to be the one to save Craig Berube's team? Who's going to be the one who has a hard-working effort, an effort that doesn't have mental lapses, or at very least keeps them to a minimum? It doesn't have lazy plays. The L word is dangerous in hockey. Lazy? My goodness. Is it going to be a star? Several stars, because the team does have several. Is it going to be one of the depth guys? Maybe it's going to be one of the depth guys. Are they simply going to be bailed out by Anthony Stolarz in goaltending? Because that is also an option. Even though when this team has an off night, they don't appear to score very much. Or does the question come from outside of the organization by way of a trade or something else like waivers? This next part, this is a hard question, and you don't have to say the answer out loud, but you'll know what your answer is inside. Austin Matthews on tonight's performance. Just a bad game all around. It starts with me. But yeah, there's a number of things we obviously didn't do good tonight. Austin Matthews was a -3 in this one. If I'm not mistaken, he was also on the ice for the penalty kill goal, the power play goal against. Now, was he the only star player who had a bad night? No, that entire line had a bad night. Mitch Marner was also a -3. Matthew Knies was also a -3. William Nylander was a -2. But focusing on Marner and Knies, guess what idiot has both Marner and Knies on his fantasy team? Do you want to know what they got me? Do you want to know what they netted me in this one? Drew, make sure to show these one at a time to save the surprise. Here's Mitch Marner's stat line in my fantasy. Goals 0, assists 0, penalty minutes 0, power play points 0, shorthanded points 0, game-winning goals 0, shots on goal 2, hits 0, blocks 0. Shots on goal in my fantasy are 0.3 points each. He netted me 0.6 points. Pretty bad for a guy I picked pretty high. Then there's Matthew Knies, who I picked up recently. He's got points in 3 straight goals and back-to-back. Dude had zeros across the board, except for 1 hit and 2 penalty minutes, for a grand total of -0.2 points. So when Knies basically got taken off the top line, I was like, well, that's dumb. And then I saw that and I went, oh, okay. Seems that whole line didn't have a very good evening. My upcoming criticism of Austin Matthews here has nothing to do with the goals not going in. We know the goals are going to go in. He's got 2 goals, right? But he's getting the shots. He's getting the shot attempts. He's getting the scoring chances. He had a couple scoring chances in this one. He didn't score them, but they're right there. You could tell he's kind of snake bitten right now. The amount of chances he had in this game and in others, he could have 8, 9, or 10 goals. It's not even a ridiculous thing to say. We've seen him do it. He opened last season with back-to-back hat tricks. For me, it's not the fact that his scoring chances, his shots on goal, his shot attempts are not going in. It's that his Selke candidacy, which I'm going to remind you, this dude was a nominee for Best Defensive Forward. His Selke candidacy is currently set on fire. Is there a lot of time to turn that around? Of course there's a lot of time to turn that around. That's a very easy question. The question I'm going to ask you, is that the worst regular season game of Austin Matthews' career? I know. I'm going to give you a second with that one, and you're probably looking at me sideways, and I understand. Name a worse one. Name a worse one. Dude was basically on the ice for every goal, responsible, like directly responsible for minimum one of them. Minimum one of them. And yeah, he wasn't able to bury his chances at the other end. But goalie, in his first game of the season, you'd like to maybe give him a bit of a soft landing. He couldn't have given him a bumpier landing if it was on a gravel tarmac. But it's not just the game in a vacuum. It's not just the -3. They got demolished, destroyed, embarrassed by the Columbus Blue Jackets last game. 6-2. They were down 5-0 at one point. That's the only reason they got to. It was ridiculous. It was repulsive. It was beneath them. They have a day off. They have home ice advantage. They have their new coach's first game against the team that just fired him, and that's the effort that the team gave their coach, and that's the effort that this team's new captain gave. Now, Craig Berube used the word lazy. I don't know if he was necessarily referring to Austin. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say he wasn't, because Austin Matthews does not play a lazy game. Even on his worst nights, difficult to call him a lazy player, man. The guy's an animal. He throws a lot of hits now. He blocks a lot of shots. He does a lot of very unglorious things on top of all of his glorious skills. But given the context of the past few days, boy, does Monday's victory over Tampa feel miles and miles away now. Given what happened on Tuesday, the talk of it on Wednesday, and this loss now on Thursday, is this not the worst regular season loss of Matthews' career? It's top 5 minimum for me. You'd have a really hard time naming 4 worse. You could point to bigger butt whoopings against other teams. Difficult to point at many nights where 34 was worse than this. Scores are not always going to score. Captains are not always going to score. But a captain always has to lead by example, and tonight was a poor one, in my opinion. What's yours? Now here's another one. William Nylander was benched for a little bit in this one. This isn't me. This is not me. I have seen Leaf fans give this feedback. Why does William Nylander get benched when he's playing poorly and Mitch Marner doesn't? I know. I am not advocating for Mitch Marner to get benched. Straight up, I would never bench him. He is too important of a player to bench. There, we good? I am going to offer this, though. Boy, do the Leafs have a problem right now. The decor, believe it or not, I'm not too worried about the decor. The goaltending, believe it or not, I'm not that worried about the goaltending. If Woll is splitting the net with Stolarz, he has time. I'm really not worried about it yet. If Woll gets hurt again or plays poorly or Stolarz loses his form, yeah, I'll worry about it. But until then, there's plenty of real stuff to worry about with this team right now. I'm not going to worry about the hypotheticals. But up front, oh boy. Remember how we were talking about like the Leafs on the left side all summer and hey, Nick Robertson can fill that void. And then first day of training camp, he was put on the right wing and basically never taken off of it. Great. Okay. So, the Leafs left side is currently Nyes, who has been playing very well this season and I really like a lot, but he was -3 tonight. Bobby McMahon, who was a healthy scratch to start the season. Probably shouldn't have been, but he was. Steven Lorentz tonight. And Pontus Holmberg. Do you think that's good? Okay, sorry, no. Do you think they can win the division with that? Right? Forget the playoffs. Do you think they can win the division with that? Okay, but now you're comparing them to other teams. Do you think they can crack 100 points with that? I'm getting away from the question I was going to ask because I don't want to ask the question, okay? But here goes. First line, Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, Matthew Nyes. Who drives the bus? Austin Matthews. He drives that line. Obviously, he's their top line center, scored 69 goals last year. It's Austin. Second line, Bobby McMahon, Max Domi, William Nylander. Who drives that line? It's William Nylander. Obviously, no, he's not the center, but it's very obviously him. He has the puck a lot because he should. Third line, Steven Lorentz or Max Pacioretty, who's out with a lower body injury, but left winger du jour. John Tavares in the middle, Nick Robertson on the right. Who drives that line? In theory, it's John Tavares. Right now, it's like getting rear-ended by a self-driving Tesla. Robertson, I love Robertson. He's not a line driver, and I mean, he's kind of a beautifully simple player. He works really hard, whether it always works or not, and in the offensive zone, Get him the puck. But can he drive the line? No. Well, okay, at this point in his career, Max Pacioretty, no. Steven Lorentz, no. Pontus Holmberg, no. So it's John. Before this season began, I was banking on John to get over 30 goals. I still think it's possible. He was real snake-bitten last year. But I have seen stuff at the bottom of a barbecue that looks less cooked than him right now. Now, he was sick. I understand he was sick. He's still playing. 3 games in 4 nights. He's still playing. But that guy cannot drive a line right now. I'm not even throwing that up for debate. I guess I'll ask, do you think Tavares is better than this? Or is this simply what he is right now? Is this what you think he is going forward? And with regard to the blender or lack thereof from tonight, basically just taking Nyes off the top line and replacing him with McMahon, can Mitch Marner drive his own line? There it is, right? Who's the Mitch line? Who's the Mitch line, like in recent memory, that he's been on and driven the bus? Don't you dare say Austin. I'm sorry. Dude, what? Who is it? Now you can look back to like when he was with Tavares and he put up 47 goals. Yeah, I'll be like, yeah, that's the puck carrier. He got the puck to John. John had this elite shot. He was in good spaces. Yeah, okay, I'll meet you there. That was 6 years ago, man. Last year, down the stretch and heading into the playoffs, it was Bertuzzi with Matthews and Domi. Matthews drove that line, and it was a good line. Who's the Mitch line? Like, make one right now. Like, if I'm doing the blender thing, and Tavares is not holding up his end of the deal, like he's been bad, and that is a big problem for this team. If I got to get out the blender, right, and I got to replicate something from last year, right? If I'm putting Domi on Matthews right, and I'm like, you know what? One of McMahon or Nyes can somewhat replicate what Bertuzzi did. I make that line, right? What's line 2? The only player I'd feel comfortable playing with Tavares is Willie. Really? It could be Mitch. But that guy, like, is Mitch and Tavares together enough? Is that duo what drives the line? I believe in Willie's ability to drive a line more than Mitch. I do. That's not saying Mitch is terrible. It's just there's a difference between being a complementary player and a player who is in charge of what is happening, who is driving the play, who is controlling the play, who is manipulating the opponent and predicting the future. And sometimes, frankly, just gronking their way through the other team's defense. So what's that line? Tavares, Nylander, let's say McMahon? Yeah, I can see that working. Tavares, let's say Tavares, Marner, McMahon, okay? So your third line now is Willie. Okay, now who's your third line center? Because you put Domi up on the top line. Holmberg? You know it's not Kampf. He can't do it. Minton? Yarncroke when he's back? Dewar? I would love to say Willie if they didn't abandon that immediately and leave me with no evidence for... They're not doing Willie at center. Unless they do, which I think would be a good idea. But they're not! I guess my real question, if you don't feel like answering all of those ones, can Mitch drive a line and this, that, and the other? What are your lines? Do you simply keep what they have together and wait for them to figure it out? Or do you get out the blender? And if you do get out the blender, what on earth do you do? Here's one. Maple Leafs lose back-to-back games by 4 or more goals for the first time since February 28th and March 1st, 2015. First question, do you want to know who was on that roster? It's a 4-0 loss to the Washington Capitals, by the way. Ovechkin had 2 goals. You're welcome. Leafs roster. David Booth, we're starting off strong, -1. Tyler Bozak, -1. Jake Gardner, -1. Peter Holland, -1. Korbinian Holzer, -1. Ole Jokinen, even. Leaf legend. Nazem Kadri, -2. Phil Kessel, -1. Leo Komarov, -1. Brandon Kozin was even. Joffrey Lupul, -1. Richard Panik, -1. Dion Phaneuf, -2. Roman Polak, -1. Morgan Riley was even. I can't believe how long he's been a Leaf. Ridiculous. Stefan Robida actually played games here. -1. Zach Sill, unbelievably even. James Van Riemsdyk, -1. He's still in the league. James Reimer was the goalie. So question, is that the team that you are? Is that the team you would compare this team to? Because that is the tail end. Not even midway through or at the beginning of. No. For those of you who remember the trenches that was February, March of the 2014-15 Leafs. I cannot believe this team, the team that beat Tampa, whooped Tampa on Monday, in the 3 days that follow, did something that hasn't been done since that god-awful disgrace of a hockey team. So look, I've done some yelling, probably not as much as you expect. I've answered you a lot of questions. You don't have to answer all of them. You don't have to answer any of them. I'm not your teacher. I'm not your boss. But using the comment box down below, I would love to get your feedback on as many things as possible. You can agree, you can disagree. Please at least just be nice. That's all I ask, is be nice. But I guess I'll leave you with this. The Leafs could use a win on Saturday. The Bruins, I don't know if you've been paying attention, could use a win on Saturday. So you get a Leafs team that needs a win. You get a Bruins team that needs a win. Who do you have your money on? Who do you think is going to win that game? The Leafs and the Bruins, only one can win. Just a question. So that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. I'll advertise a few things for you. My U2's plushie that is about to not be on sale anymore. You have less than 24 hours to reserve one. Hockey Rants and Raves. It's a Toronto Star bestseller again this week. Number 3 in Canadian nonfiction. I'm very happy about that. And this Sunday, Oshawa Generals, Peterborough Petes, Steve Dangle Podcast. We got our own section and we're going to be doing a live show after that. If you want tickets, link in the description down below.